Oh, based on square footage? Oh, wow.
It's 7 p.m. Welcome, everybody, to the June 21st Advisory Plan Commission meeting. Will staff please confirm the presence of a quorum?
Ms. Bergman,
Here.
Mr. Deck,
Here.
Mr. Horke,
Here.
Mr. Johns,
Here.
Dr. Kelleher,
Here.
Mr. Maui. Here. Mr. McCarty,
Here?
Mr. Schmitz,
Here.
Ms. Boljeric.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item next is approval of the minutes in a revised format. Kevin, do you want to explain, or shall I, or?
Yeah, so if you wouldn't mind pulling those up. We are preparing our minutes a little bit differently these days. As indicated in the email that went out late last week, we will be, as you see there on the top of the page, linking the, the YouTube version of the meeting to the minutes, so folks can click on that directly and go listen to the meeting. We are also identifying within the body of the minutes themselves the time during the YouTube meeting when those different items are held. So for ease of use for the user, they can click right to that time. Yeah, so there's an example right there under change to agenda at minute 304. So if somebody wants to click on the link, go to minute 304, they can listen to that portion of the meeting. So this will really streamline and simplify the preparation of our minutes, but also we think it's a kind of an innovative way of preparing minutes. They do follow all of the statutory requirements for minutes preparation. So this is the direction we're looking to go.
Thank you. I had suggested when we reviewed this as well that I was already thinking it might be helpful to streamline meetings by adding these to the consent agenda. This would make it even more of a no-brainer to do that if in fact there isn't a reason why we have to have an actual vote on minutes, which in our previous conversation did not seem to be the case. So we'll see how that works going forward.
Kevin, I have a question. I agree that this streamlines things, and that's good. I have two questions. Number one, how will these be preserved in perpetuity? So if ever we need them, either for anybody, even for legal purposes, that they're there and YouTube doesn't go belly up. Do we have somebody doing that?
Yeah, so they are on our website linked, and they'll be there as long as we have a website, right? And we also have them in-house on our servers that get backed up every day. So
Okay, great.
Yep.
And then a second question, for people who don't have access to the internet, are these going to be available like at the library or any place else? Not everybody has access. Is there a way that somebody who might want to see them, can they just come in?
Yeah, just like before, they can come in, they can request to get a copy, and we can provide them with a written copy. If they need to listen to a portion of the meeting, we can provide a space for them to do that.
Are there any other questions or comments regarding this format?
I just had a quick question to build on what Jenny said. Kevin, would it be possible to put that on the minutes below the YouTube video for hard copy, contact the planner's email or whatever, just on those minutes? So if someone sees them, they understand that that's not their only access?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just add that it's an awesome idea to timestamp everything, so great.
Thank you. There was one very minor correction I noticed at the top. Unless Ginny is our new chair, she has a last name.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Are there any?
I'm Ginny Rob Horke.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, that's all strung together?
Yep.
I'm not sure what my wife will think of that. Anyway, moving on after that. Are there any other comments, questions, or corrections? If not, is there a motion to accept these minutes into the record?
I make a motion to accept the June 7th, 2021 minutes into the record.
I'll second that.
Thank you. It has been moved and seconded by Jenny Kelleher and Andre Maui. Will staff please call the roll?
Mr. Deck,
Yes.
Mr. Horke,
Yes.
Mr. Johns,
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher,
Yes.
Mr. Maui,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz,
I'll abstain since I wasn't present.
Ms. Spillier, Ms. Spillier. Okay, Ms. Berkman.
Yes.
And then one more time, Ms. Spillier. All right. Motion carries.
Thank you.
She was.
I will not forget to ask staff to review the rules and procedures for the meeting this week.
You know what? I don't have that. Pam is not here, and I am pinch hitting. For her. Yeah, we could play that every meeting. No, I don't think we have it accessible. Yeah, quickly, we don't have any items on our agenda that are scheduled for public hearing this evening. If we did, folks could email the planners at westfield.in.gov, or those present in the audience would have an opportunity to speak. We do ask for everyone speaking tonight to use the microphones and make sure that you are speaking into them directly. We've had requests over the past several months for folks that are listening in that sometimes it's hard to hear. So please make sure that you're using the microphone. And when you're not speaking, please turn it off, also for audio purposes for those on the other end of this. With that, that's kind of the procedures for this evening. We have 2 items of business that we'll be hearing and taking action on.
Thank you. The consent agenda actually has been continued. There was only one item on it that is not being presented tonight after all for approval. So we're actually going to move on to our first item of business, which is 2106 ODP-12 and 2106-SPP-12 Somerset. We're here for an approval of the primary plat and overall development plan.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Members of the Planning Commission, for the record, Kevin Todd with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening is a primary plat and overall development plan for 151 lots on a little over 61 acres in the Somerset Plan Unit Development. The site is located on the south side of 186th Street, just west of Spring Mill Road, and was zoned Somerset PUD earlier this year. The public hearing for this item was held at the June 7th Plan Commission meeting. The item is fully compliant and ready for your approval this evening. The petitioner is present virtually this evening. They do not plan to present tonight, but are available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I suspect there are a few commissioner comments. I'll invite Cindy Spillier if she's actually able to be heard and respond here to weigh in if there are any questions or comments regarding this. Are you there, Cindy Spillier? Cindy, can you unmute yourself if that's the case? While we're waiting to see if that might happen, rather than taking the steps to go through, since this has been in front of us several times and it's a fairly direct item. Does anybody present in City Hall have any questions or comments? or staff or the petitioner. Seeming as there are none, is there a motion to approve this item? There is one condition recommended by staff. Anyone?
Hey, just to let you know, it looks like Cindy's going to try and leave the meeting and rejoin to see if that helps, but I guess she could not unmute.
Thank you. I will go ahead and move that we approve the primary plat and overall development plan for 2106-ODP-12 and 2106-SPP-12 with the condition that all necessary approvals be obtained from the Westfield Public Works Department and the Hamilton County Surveyors prior to issuance of an improvement location permit. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. It has been moved by myself and seconded by Mike Johns. Will staff please call the roll?
Certainly. Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes.
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Boljaric?
yes,
Welcome
Ms.
back.
Berkman?
Yes.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
And Mr. Horke?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. The other remaining item of business is a rezone of David Brown Drive, 2106-REZ-1. Is Caleb on the call or on virtually to
Yep.
make any comments?
Yep, I'm here. Good evening, Commission. Thank you, President. For the record, Caleb Ernest with the Community Development Department. This proposal is for a change of zoning request from the property owner located at 224 David Brown Drive. This area is approximately 1.6 acres and is currently zoned the GBPD General Business Plan Development District. This item appeared before you at the June 7th Plan Commission meeting, at which it received a public hearing. The property owner is requesting the change of zoning from the GBPD district to the SF1 single-family large lot district. Since the public hearing, no modifications have been made and no public comments have been received. This item is ready for your recommendation. The property owner, Jeremiah Kitchell, is present. He does not plan on making a presentation, but is available for questions should you have any, and I'm available for questions should you have any for staff. Thank you.
Thank you. This item is in front of us for a recommendation to council. I'll invite Cindy Spoljaric to weigh in with any questions or comments she may have, if any.
I don't have any, but thank you.
Very good, thank you. Once again, since this has been in front of us before, it's fairly straightforward. I won't take the time to poll everybody, but just open for polite comments to start coming forward. Looks like Dr. Kelleher, you may have something? Or no, you just turned your mic on for fun. Okay.
I'm ready
Does-
to make a motion.
Very good. Does anybody
We're all
have any
gonna jump
questions
at
or comments for the petitioner or staff? Hearing none, we're ready for a motion.
I will make a motion to send a positive recommendation on 2106-REZ-01 to the City Council.
I'll second.
Thank you, and thank you. It's been moved and seconded by Dr. Kelleher and Victor McCarty. Will staff please call the roll?
Dr. Kelleher?
Yes?
Mr. Maui?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz?
Yes.
Ms. Boljaric?
Yes,
Ms. Berkman?
Yes.
Mr. Deck?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes,
Mr. Johns?
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. That completes our items of business for this evening. There are no public hearing items. Everything else is continued. So we are down to comments from plant commissioners. Does anybody have any questions or comments for the group? I believe there's at least one.
President Horke, may I ask a question for
Absolutely.
staff? I would just like to ask about the emails that are sent to the APC. Those are not coming through to my email, and I don't know if it's just my personal email or if other commissioners are having issues. Last meeting, Pam had talked about, there were a couple of letters that came in after 5 o'clock, and those would be sent to our emails, but I didn't receive those. So can you kind of take us through that process, Kevin?
I have also not received those, and occasionally other ones that I've had to call and get, so I don't know what the delay is between when it's sent to us and when we actually get it. There's some kind of middleman there, or what?
Well, it shouldn't be. If people are using the apc@westfield.in.gov email address, which is what seems to happen the majority of the time, you all should be receiving that. And I guess if you're not, we can certainly look into that on the technical side and why maybe some are going through and some aren't. I don't know. We can certainly look into that.
So
but-
Kevin, should they be coming to us immediately, or do they get,
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think there's any filter. I mean, we should be, they should be going to everybody as soon as they're sent. We do include those in our public comment exhibit, right? So they
Right.
should be available there. But to your point, the ones that come in after we're posting, then if you're not receiving those, then you don't get to see those, I guess. So, yeah, I don't have an answer on the technical side. We can certainly have our IT folks help us look into that as to why that might be occurring, but, and I know
I've had issues
Bob
with
has had
that,
some
and I
issues.
suspected that it may have somehow or other have reverted to my Westfield email, which I no longer have. And then I did, after letting you and Christopher Larson know about it, I got one or two after that, but I haven't seen anything in a while, so I don't know if I'm
Okay.
missing anything or not. So I think we need to take a good, hard look at that, because it's important information that if we're not getting, we're not making our decisions based on all the things we should know.
May I ask all of you, so I sent the Sunday before the last meeting, the summary for the downtown. Did any of you receive that before the meeting Monday night?
no?
And I sent it to the APC
Mhm.
email. And I know you were kind enough to print it off, so it was here for everybody, but I had sent it, earlier for everybody to take a look at it. So nobody received it?
No.
Right, I
At
think I
that
had
meeting?
you send that to me separately, because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hadn't
to
gotten
your,
it, and I knew it was out there.
Right.
So I knew to ask.
right.
So if nobody received that, that's a problem. We need to get that resolved.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Kevin.
thanks for letting us know.
I appreciate it.
We'll get to the bottom of that. So
Are-
we'll be testing it, so make sure you're watching.
Yeah, please
for
do.
Yeah.
Are there
Kevin,
any other comments?
Well, I just have a question. I know you're going to be looking into where we can place corporations and business parks and things. And one of the reasons that the KFC is not on tonight is because they didn't meet all of the 32 overlay, and they're going to fix that, of course. But when we look at business parks, I think we need to take a hard look at State Road 32, because what we're getting are small businesses, mainly, a lot of fast food and things. And that was not the intent of the 32 overlay. It was to get larger businesses. So I don't know if we need to look at parcel size along 32, because we're getting things that come in and can't put their dumpsters where they should, based on the ordinance, because they don't have enough room. We're getting small parcels that really don't allow them to fit into our overlay, and that's a concern. So I just want to suggest that when you start looking at business parks, we really take a good look at 32, because we've got a lot of land out there on both sides that would be nice for corporate offices and business parks and things like that. And I hate to see it. I'm not against fast food and small businesses, but I hate to see us fill the whole 32 corridor with that, and end up looking a little bit like Kokomo, which is what we didn't want. We wanted a bigger investment in our major corridors than that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from plan commissioners? Hearing none. Councilor Spoljarek, are you prepared to offer any kind of a update on city council activities?
I sure can try.
Thank you.
I hope you guys can hear me. We did have a meeting on the 14th. We appointed Linda Nass to the RDC. to replace Brian Ferguson, who resigned. Kristen Berkman, our very own, was appointed to the New Builder Architectural Review Board at Woodwind. She replaces Randy, who was serving on that prior. Jeremy Lallard gave a review of the State Road 32 funding. The YMCA gave an update on the progress that they have on their new build, or what they would like to build. And they did request $5 million from the city in assistance. No decision was made about that. And Councilor Gilbert requested $25,000 from the council promotions budget to provide a startup kind of fund to staff, at least part-time, a position for the Wellbeing Coalition. And it was very heartwarming because after some debates, residents and Councilor Patton actually offered to basically cover at least the vast majority of that and raised whatever money was needed to get that position up and going. So it was very heartening. And so please consider donating to that if you can. They have a lot of important work to do. And let's see, the Bonterra PUD was approved. We passed a resolution allowing the council to participate by electronic means for our council meetings. And it was something I was going to ask staff and perhaps legal if we need to do something like that for APC, RDC, BZA. I didn't know because our resolution only covers council. So maybe we need to talk about that. And then, let's see, we tabled the resolution regarding transparency and campaign contributions. We had an introduction for the Mule Barn Road commercial PUD, which will be coming to us, I believe, in our July meeting. The neighbor meeting for that is tomorrow, virtually. And one more thing we had, the ordinance to repeal and replace the city's animal control ordinance was introduced, and so we haven't passed it yet. We'll do that next meeting. That's it.
Thank you. BZA has met since we last were here, I believe. Do we have an update on BZA activities?
Yes, sir. Short meeting as well on the 8th of June. The first item was the Chris Center. We're out on Joliet Road. Technically classified as agritourism due to technically being a farm, but is a youth mental health facility, rehabilitation for teenagers, so that'll be a pretty awesome facility. Then two personal items, a constituent dividing up a parcel of land, and then also a pool variance. So nothing too flashy.
Thank you. Anything from staff?
No, not tonight.
Not tonight?
We gave our news earlier with the minutes changed.
You did.
so Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion from Andre Maury. Do we have a second? Second from Dave Schmitz.
All right. Mr. Johns,
Yes.
Dr. Kelleher,
Yes.
Mr. Maui,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Schmitz,
Yes.
Ms. Bulgaric,
Yes.
Ms. Berkman,
Yes.
Mr. Deck,
Yes.
Mr. Horke.
Yes,
Motion carries.
we are adjourned.